right. Welcome back to Culture Cast, episode 23, the pre-Thanksgiving episode, shall we say. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody if you celebrate it. If not, just, we won't talk about the day. A lot of bad things occurred, but, well, the meaning we try to push with it of, being thankful for things. It's nice. So, hopefully you guys have some stuff to be thankful for and just have a good day in general. But we don't have much for you today. There wasn't a lot going on around the league. We covered the Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan stuff in the last episode. So we're pretty much just going to cover here the Oklahoma City Thunder games since the last episode, as well as the Warriors. As we're recording this, the Warriors are getting the snot beaten out of them by the Suns. Granted, it's more so the Suns punching the Warriors in the face with their own fist. So, is what it is. But yeah, we just gonna be kind of a short episode, not much for you guys today. But yeah, we'll do our normal recaps of what's going on. But to open here, the first game that happened since the last time we recorded was the second Warriors versus Thunder matchup.
Yeah.
This was just
Great
an
game.
impressive game for
Yeah.
everyone here. Yeah,
Big time.
huge game.
Huge game from both teams, man.
Yeah, we'll open here with your boys. If you want to do box score, we could do that. Or actually, we'll start with a recap. What were
Yeah.
your thoughts on the game?
Dude, so I mean, they almost I don't want to say they topped the first game, game one. I don't want to say they topped it, but I don't know, they kind of did. That was an impressive game. That was very fun. You
Yeah,
obviously saw a lot of Warriors come alive that needed to. Chris Paul looked great down the
yeah,
stretch, which he has been great the whole year. Shooting the ball, not so much. But this game, different story. He shot very well.
yeah,
You have some of the young guys. Kaminga at times looked very strong, but like you mentioned, he doesn't post up, and it was kind of bothering me. And it was against my team, and I was kind of getting bothered by it. He was getting guarded by Isaiah Joe, who's kind of really skinny.
wig.
And then you have Andrew Wiggins, man. And I mean, he came alive. That's an understatement. He
Yeah,
showed us the whole game. Everything he shot was going in. He did not miss, it seemed like, the whole game.
yeah,
But the Thunder had a good answer back. You guys were beating us pretty good in the third quarter. It was, I believe you guys took it up by 10. I don't think it really went past 10, right?
yeah. That's biggest
15
lead
maybe. I don't. I
here.
think 15 would have been the biggest. I top
Biggest lead 18 for the
eight.
Warriors.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was a decent lead. And then shout out to Jalen Williams for making some big shots in the fourth. SGA, they did their thing. SGA came alive in the second half.
he was
Um,
huge in that fourth quarter and
yeah,
overtime. It was Shea's ball game.
big time.
He completely took over.
The MVP of that
Yeah,
game, man, I think it's got to be Chet. I mean,
easily. He
he
was amazing.
he
That
was
was his best
everywhere.
game of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, he was everywhere the whole game. He definitely his best performance to date. He was phenomenal the whole game. He did almost a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Um, Still kind of having issues with him with the turnovers. Expecting it for a guy like we've mentioned, a tall guy like that to put the ball on the floor. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. He's gonna be a little, I guess, clumsy, I guess is the word
And
for.
guys just tend to reach in on him,
Yeah,
so you're just gonna get a lot more swipe down. So it's, you know, tough to deal with. But yeah.
not really surprised, but no, it was a like we mentioned, it was a great game. A lot of new people or a lot of new faces for the Warriors came alive. I'll say that. It
Yeah.
was a good game from both sides. I really was at the edge of my seat the whole game. I don't think there was a time where I wasn't. I thought it was over at one point, and then they stormed right back. And then we took the lead, and you guys stormed right back. And then it was just back and forth the whole game, pretty much, except the third quarter. It was a great game. I definitely like to see the minutes too. It was a lot of different players playing the whole game. Isaiah Joe got some run again. Was great,
Yeah.
obviously, the game before, but he looked solid again. Chet, SJ did their thing. J Dub came alive too in the fourth quarter, did really well. I
Big
like
shot
him.
making. Yeah.
Calm, collective mid ranges and such, but definitely a very solid game. But no, definitely, like I mentioned, you guys and Pody, when Pody played, he looked pretty solid himself. I was kind of interested to see why he didn't get a little more run himself. I thought he was did very well for the whole game. I know he wasn't the most efficient from the field that game, but no, like
Yeah.
You guys had a really good game. Steph, I think Steph, I wouldn't say he had a clunker, but he definitely had a few mistakes down the
Yeah,
stretch.
he
Like
missed
you
like three or
mentioned,
four layups
yeah,
in the end. That was also
yeah,
his first game back off of the knee
yeah,
thing, so
exactly. He was on a minutes
a little
restriction.
tired. Yeah,
Yeah. Or no, not even a minutes restriction. I believe he
just
played.
tired.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played a lot that game,
Plus,
but
I mean, every game, it's like every possession this dude's getting triple team, hedged,
yeah.
trapped at the
No,
top.
they
It's
were
like
throwing Kaysen at him. Lou
dude
Dort
has
had
to
him.
work for
They had him.
everything. You know.
They had Chet on him at times. They
Yeah.
were on him the whole game. There he was not getting any breathing room, and I
Yeah.
really so. And then, but yeah, no, like I said, nope. This was a fun game. This was another
Yeah.
fun Warrior Thunder game. I like another classic of the year so far. This was a very fun one. Too bad
Yeah.
this was an in-season game, but no, definitely a very very fun game again, and I'm happy to see that it's competitive. Warriors Thunder hasn't been in the past few years, but this year it's been competitive for sure. I
Yeah.
think that's it though. I think that's the end of the season series. Thunder Warriors.
Yeah. I think with this
They only played
game
three.
three. Yeah.
Yeah, they
So
only played three. I thought they would play four, but I
yeah.
guess it's not. So yeah, no, it was yeah.
Thankfully for us, you guys play like like your lives are on the line. Like the shooting is just unreal.
Yeah,
But
no, it's
I
been fun.
mean, you saw the like when we were talking before the season started about what Chet's gonna bring to this Thunder team.
Yeah,
Like I know the Warriors are, they're not alone when it comes to not being a huge team, but
yeah,
where we are a smaller team in this league, and when you play a team like the Thunder, I think what you guys have shot so well against us at least that
yeah,
the Warriors had to overcompensate and overshoot a lot of screens, overshoot and pick and roll and stuff. And what does that do? I mean, you only like Chet had 36, but he only took five threes.
yeah.
He was
No,
getting
definitely.
to the cup
He
as
was.
much as possible because there wasn't much left for him to deal with.
No, definitely.
Especially with Draymond being out.
Like I was gonna say, I think you
Yeah.
guys missed him a lot because Chet was eating on the offensive glass a bit during that game.
Well, and Trace couldn't play. He had knee
Yeah,
soreness from the G
yeah,
League game that he was in the
exactly.
day before. So, you
Those are
know,
two bruisers right there that I think would have really changed Chet's game because he had a great game obviously, but I think you have someone like that to put a body on him like that. I think it would have been a different story. I don't think he would have gotten the offensive glass like he did. I think he did really well in the offensive glass, and I think he got there kind of easily. But like you
yeah,
said, kind of forgot about Draymond. Yeah, no, I definitely think that would have been a whole different game. I don't think Chet would have had it that easy because yeah, I no disrespect to Dario, but there's times where it's him, and then there's a few other times it was Dario. Let me think who else. Looney, obviously. It's just they're
yeah.
undersized, and I think just the pure athleticism of Chet and like the speed he has, I think it kind of threw him off. Definitely Looney. Looney's I think a little bit more of a slow-footed type player.
Kavan plays better defense against guys like Jokic, guys that are
Yeah,
slow footed because he has like a really low base because
yeah,
of his hips and he kind of has to be super sturdy down low. But you've got guys like Chet that, they have the Kevin Durant under
yeah,
sweep and they're
yeah.
able to
They put it on
elongate
the
and
floor really
reach
well.
out.
Yeah,
So, Kavan struggles with that or against guys like Bam who, have that explosive first step. So,
definitely.
um, Kavan's got his strengths. Dario, for Dario, the biggest thing is, we saw in preseason racks up fouls. He
Yeah,
hasn't really done that too much. He did in this Suns game that's going on right now. But for the most part, Dario this season has been pretty good about limiting the fouls as a backup big because, you don't want to just have the opponents live at the line. But,
definitely.
when you're a defender, especially someone who's not as skilled, as some other big men, you kind of have to say, okay, am I going to, go aggro defensively, get really into someone's body, play over top and try and block shots, or am I going to like seed ground to them, hands up, and hopefully, contest enough to have him miss the shot? And
Yeah,
I think Dario does that very well. But again, so like if a dude's big enough, it's just what are you gonna do?
yeah,
If
definitely.
he could get over top, there's just nothing much you could do. Or against a guy like Shangoon,
Yeah,
it's like,
he
well,
did. Yeah, I
these
did
dudes
watch
know how to
that
play
too.
angles,
Yeah,
like Jokic knows how to play angles. He moves
yeah,
you one way, he's going the other immediately. So,
definitely.
um, and again, no Trace, but also just in general, I think for a guy like Trace, a lot of Warriors fans bitching and moaning about him making some mistakes here. It's like, oh, this is his first time against these dudes,
Bound to happen.
Yeah, I know
Exactly.
he's 23, so there's a little bit more of like a
Yeah,
readiness for him. But this is
definitely.
still your first time as an undersized big, not a
Yeah,
lot of continuity in your role. It's a little tough, but um, regardless, you guys in these games have just like through and through in every facet outplayed us. Um, and right, I mean, forget how the Warriors could look down the road. You guys are
yeah.
just a better team, like straight up.
As of right now, I definitely think, like we've mentioned, you guys have some growing pains to get through, and I think you guys are still an elite team. I think having Clay play the way he did this game, I think he was solid the whole game. Then when he got to overtime, there's a few times where I was just scratching my head. I
They
was
were
like,
just they might
"Come
as well
on,
just been
Clay."
listed as turnovers, dude. Some of
Yeah,
the shots he takes, it's
there
like
were like four of them that were just like, wow, that was a bad shot. And it was like before that, he was shooting very well. He was having a very good game. He was doing his thing on defense. He was doing solid.
yeah.
He wasn't bad. He was
He's
keeping
opened the
close.
last three games
Yeah,
with great first quarters, but then he just
exactly.
like again, it's not like a Jordan Poole thing. I've watched the last couple Wizards games, and
Yeah,
like Jordan Poole against the Bucks
yeah,
had like 30 points,
yeah,
and they were like in the game for the most part until the fourth quarter when Poole came back in minus 26 despite dropping 30. But like
yeah.
every time Poole made one shot, it was like for certain this dude's gonna come down the next three plays and shoot the ball regardless. Like everybody get the fuck out of the way. I'm on one. I'm on a heat check. It's like dude hits like one floater and thinks he's God. It's ridiculous. Like Clay has that, but also, and this is one thing I was thinking of before we started recording. I talked about this a lot last season with Dylan Brooks and the Grizzlies because we just
Yeah,
talked about before we started recording. One thing the Grizzlies their biggest issue that they've always had is aside from Jaw, who's going to be the shot creator?
yeah,
No one. Jaren, not a shot creator. He
yeah,
can occasionally go get one, but he's someone who plays off of another person.
yeah.
Desmond Bain can go get one, but he's
Same
someone who
thing.
plays off of, yeah.
Yeah,
So, last season and the last few seasons that he's been there, Dylan Brooks, even though he in no way, shape, or form is a good shot creator or should be one, he was
yeah,
the only dude in a Grizzlies uniform that had the balls to just go get buckets, to just go drive, go make a thing, make something happen. And
definitely.
Grizzlies fans clowned him for it. You know, people in our group chat clowned him for it, but it was like, hey
Yeah.
man,
Who else is gonna
why
do it?
is he the one doing it?
Exactly.
Like that's
Yeah.
what we should be like talking about. Like, why
And
is
he's
Dylan Brooks
now.
the one doing it? Yeah.
And
And look
he's spinning.
exactly
Look, he's
now that
spinning
he
very
doesn't
well
have
next to the
to.
shot creators. Exactly. Yeah. Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green.
Mm-hmm.
They're all that team right now. I give them that. They're buying in. The Rockets
Exactly.
100% buying in the Ime system, and Dylan Brooks is playing
Because they're
phenomenal.
all in the right roles.
Exactly.
Fred Van Vliet's offense still isn't there, but the playmaking is.
Yeah. No,
But like
definitely.
that's the thing with Clay is like Clay can go get a bucket, but it's
Yeah.
like you don't want him to be your number two. He's not
Definitely.
that guy.
He's
You
not in
know,
right now, as of right. Yeah.
in
Not.
general, he just doesn't have the lateral quickness anymore. He just simply doesn't have the physical skill set to get around dudes anymore. Like
Yeah.
he's someone you want playing off ball solely. Like
Definitely.
I went back today and watched game 3 of the 2017 finals,
Yeah.
Warriors Cavs. Clay was going nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Steph and Katie together is a
80.
different story, but like,
That's pretty nice to play with.
yeah. But just having two legit shot creators
Next
who
to him.
can
Yeah.
draw the attention, it just opens up Clay's game. And
Ridiculously.
he
Yeah.
needs that,
Yeah.
and when he takes open shots where he can set his feet, follow through, all good. Good shot selection. But when, like, I don't know if you noticed this watching the Warriors, like, when Clay comes in, they give it like all this movement. Everybody's
Yeah.
moving, sets. They put the ball in Clay's hands, everyone just moves.
Yeah.
He doesn't call for an ISO. He's not sitting there like Jordan Poole, like everybody move,
Yeah.
he's not calling fist. Like Clay gets the ball and people just stop moving. And so
Yeah.
now he's in an ISO situation on like the best defender. And then it's like nothing happens and everyone like blames Clay. It's like, dude, you guys are absolutely setting him up for failure.
Yeah.
You know, they need, and this is what we talked about. Like they need Wiggins to step up. And in this game, Andrew Wiggins, I said it before in my post game video, 31 points. He's good for one of these once every 2 years. Once every 2 years, you get an Andrew Wiggins. Just what the hell just happened? And
Yeah.
then I said in the video, I knew this was gonna happen, and I was right. I'm like, I don't want to act like this isn't going, like he's not going to build off of this, but
Yeah,
I know this motherfucker. It's not. Don't think this is like the new normal. He's not back. And so, what happened? Follows the 31 points, 12 points, 3 of 10 from the field. You need Wiggins to step up and be that guy, but they just don't get it, dude. There's
yeah,
nobody on this Warriors roster that can create outside of Steph.
I
Like,
know.
I don't I don't get it. And you guys have a team where it's like Lou Dort can even go create something. Is he
At
good at
times,
it? No, but he can. Jalen Williams, he's
yeah,
developed more of an
I like him
offensive
a
game
lot.
than a dude like
Yeah,
Kaminga, and he's been in the league less years. Chet Holmgren has a deeper bag.
yeah,
Giddy can get more buckets. Shea can get one. Isaiah Joe can put it on the floor and get to the rim. Kaysen can even do that. It's like I'm it. I don't know. I could criticize this Warriors team so much. It's just it's getting ridiculous because like I said, you guys are a better team, but the Warriors need to function better, and it's not because
agree.
of a lack of talent. It's because of a lack of aggression. You got all
Definitely.
this fucking passive pussy shit. Like just nut up and go get one, dude.
Yeah,
Like you're Andrew Wiggins. You were the number one pick. You're Maple Jordan. Why are you why are you not slamming it on someone's head? We've seen you do it. Like you've baptized so many people, dude. Oh, all right. I need to chill out. I need to chill out. Anyways, what we do need to get to in this game before I blow a gasket is the main thing, which was Andrew Wiggins hitting a clutch, what should have been a game-winning three, to cap off the heroics, the Andrew Wiggins, once every 2 year game.
yeah,
Uh, the Warriors, in classic fashion, opt not to foul down or up three,
yeah.
and Chet Holmgren takes an essentially uncontested, like I'm
Fade
sort
away.
of in your face, but an
Yeah,
uncontested corner three over Andrew Wiggins,
yeah,
makes it overtime. Warriors lose because Shea just goes nuts.
yeah,
And nobody can answer because they're all going to trap Steph and force someone else to take the shot. Andrew Wiggins in overtime did nothing.
yeah.
Like, I try not to blame Steve Kerr for stuff, but it's like, dude,
No, there's times where,
modern day, man, you got to
yeah,
foul. Like, if Chet Home,
that was a
he
clutch.
said that
Yeah,
Kerr said he was afraid that they were going to, if they wrapped Chet, they were going to call continuation. Or if they
yeah,
wrapped whoever got the ball, they call continuation. It's like, dude, you live with that then.
yeah,
Like, number one, try not to do that. But
yeah,
if it happens and he chucks one up and then hits the free throw, you live with it. Like that's just that's some Kobe shit. What are you gonna do, right? But like, I'm not giving any of these dudes who have torched you night in and night out an opportunity to make one because they're
yeah.
gonna fucking make it. I Once he caught the ball and it was clear there was no foul, I was like, yeah, it's going in. You know, just start like, of course it is. I remember against the Wizards a couple years ago, in the like half bubble season,
Yeah,
the Warriors were like up four, and they were playing at home against the Wizards. Bradley Beal comes down the floor, just foul him, fucking foul
yeah,
him, and it wasn't even like a half court play. This was a full court. They let Bradley Beal walk the ball up to defend, and it turns into an and one three.
three. Yeah,
Just that should not happen. Like you got to foul, dude. I don't. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with this fucking Warriors team, and you guys, who honestly, 2 years ago, we would have won that game. We would have won, maybe not the last. Excuse me, the one before this where you guys blew us out, but the last two we would have won handedly
yeah,
because you guys were way less developed. Like just younger and a little bit dumber, as
yeah.
all teams on the rise are,
Definitely.
or were. But right now, this Warriors team, it's like, regardless of how good Chris Paul is, regardless of how good Dario plays, or, what you get from Clay or Wiggins, something on my nose. There's just, one thing gets solved, something else breaks. It's like,
Uh, yeah,
it's like one of those apps where like the code is just like the worst ever. And it's like they
yeah,
can't fix anything because they fix one bug and 16 other pop up.
yeah.
Like, I was telling you about all the offensive rebounding Wiggins was doing. Dude
Yeah.
drops 31 points, 0 rebounds.
Yeah.
He does one thing better, the other thing completely gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just ridiculous. But this is, I guess I want to cap that off by saying like this is, the difference between a team like the Thunder who just have more depth in more areas versus a team like the Warriors that are relying so heavily on your main guys who just
Yeah.
aren't performing at the level you need them to on top of Draymond not playing. That it's like, Thunder on a 6 game win streak, second seed in the West, looking like they could potentially come out of the West if they can keep it up because they look for real.
Yeah.
And the Warriors, it's like, at this point, you might be lucky to just get the play in. Genuinely, I'm like
Yeah.
dead serious. Like they just
Uh,
don't have enough creation. And everybody's trapping Steph. So it's
yeah.
like you pretty much have to assume or hope Wiggins and Clay can get you 18 to 20. And you tell me, man. I mean, is that a winning formula? I say no bueno.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm definitely with you on that, man. And I think the only thing that will save you, I think, is Mike Dunleavy's aggressiveness. I definitely think that he's not going to be a Myers type. I think he's going to go out and get Steph what he needs. I 100% think, like you're saying, I don't think this is a winning formula. I definitely think there is an issue with Wiggins as of right now. He's too inconsistent, obviously. I can't really remember. There's not been another 20-point game by him, right? Before that, the 30 bomb?
Nope, that was it.
Yeah, and then even then he's had a really rough year the whole time, and I believe he's shooting 50% from the free throw line, or like 50, like
Yep.
60s,
The
or
dude's as inconsistent at the line as he is everywhere else.
he's just having a really, really rough year. And I think for a team like you guys that are in a desperate win now mode, like you need to win, you need to capitalize with Steph. I don't think you can win with him again. I definitely think he is
Yep.
a salary to match with someone else, and I think he is the odd man out. I definitely think with someone like DeMar, like we mentioned, and him being on an expiring deal, it's kind of low risk because you're getting off that Wiggins contract and you're also bringing in someone that's going to be off the books by the end of the year if it doesn't work out. So it might be something that goes like that. But like I've said, I definitely think that there's a lot of interesting where routes you guys can go, but I think you guys will get it more so together. I just think it has been a little rough. And in this game, you guys are somewhat coming back. It's 14 points now, 5 minutes, not completely over, but it is a stretch, but it's
You got more faith than me, brother. You got more faith than me, I'll tell you that. But nah, yeah. It's I hope Dunleavy gets aggressive because it's like, I most of my videos last season with all the turmoil of last year was like, look, at this point, I don't care if you blow it up. Trade
yeah,
Steph, trade Draymond, trade Clay. If you're not sure about things, don't waste their time. They deserve to win. They're win
definitely.
now guys. They're not, hey, take your time, we'll chill. Like, they got a tight schedule to work with here. And if you're sitting there like, I don't know, should we go make a move? I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, you're helping no one. And
Yeah.
all you're doing is ruining the relationship you already have with Steph, with Clay, with Draymond. And it's like, frankly, I don't really care if Clay walks, but
Yeah.
they all want to stay together. So it's like, fine, you're gonna have to keep Clay. Someone's gonna have to convince him to take a cheaper contract,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna have to, you might have to overpay for a dude like DeMar. You might have to overpay for any star you try to go get for Steph, but you need to make a move because this ain't gonna work. It's
Yeah.
just this is not 2022 where Nikola Jokic is alone, where Anthony Davis can't stay healthy and LeBron's out, and the Suns can't stay healthy, and the East is all beat up. It's like everyone is playing elite basketball, but the fucking Pistons
Yeah.
and the Wizards. It's like
Yeah.
aside from them, every team can beat the shit out of the Warriors right now. That's not that isn't good, you know. So yeah, we kind of honed in on the Warriors. That's my fault. I do want to get in here for the second Thunder game. Wasn't able to watch this one. We'll briefly go over it because it was a blowout for you guys. Got it to be nice to see one of those for us. Huge win over the Blazers. I still think no Scoot. Is that correct? Yeah,
Yes.
Scoot's still out.
I feel like he just got put back to their G League team.
G League. Well,
But
maybe that's a rehab. I don't know.
yeah, it's a rehab
Yeah.
assignment. It
Okay.
is. It's for that. And they were without him and they were without someone. It was not a game for them to remember. I will
Yeah.
say that.
Robert Williams is out still.
Yeah,
Simons is out. Brogdon was out too.
yeah. And
So
as we know,
everyone
Robert
essentially.
Williams is out for the year. It's
Yeah.
like it's rough over there right now. They have a boatload of injuries over there, and they have someone who is really interesting. Had a horrible game though. Is Duop Reith. He's a center that has a really solid shot. I like the
Hmm.
way he's a pretty good shot down there, but this was not a game to look at him. I will tell you that he had a very bad game. Almost their whole team did. This was just a game for them to forget. They got absolutely blown out. I think everything just kind of went right for the Thunder, and more so, everything went horrible for them.
Alrighty. Moving on here. Warriors game just concluded. Almost came back, as was predicted. Almost is never enough. But uh, to finish up with the Thunder series here, they played the Chicago Bulls today, not too long ago, and came up with a win. Like we said a little bit earlier in the episode here, uh, this is now a 6-game winning streak for the Thunder, and I mean, what are you gonna say? But Shea, this dude is just he's back to 30 points per game. The efficiency's there. He's just absolutely taking over. And you know, I I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts past that? It's just to me, it's like Shea is he's insane. He is just
No,
insane.
I'm with you on that. I like seeing this box score, and I love seeing the 40 points, obviously, but I love seeing the 12 assists to 2 turnovers, man. I mean, I love
Yeah,
seeing his teammates available and open, and I think a lot of players benefit playing next to him. I think most
yeah.
definitely he is the system, he's the engine of this team, but definitely I love seeing that a lot. I love seeing Chet get 13 boards. It's just aggressiveness that's needed from him, which he has been showing so far.
And the 4 blocks
And
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, it's a lot of positives right now. Lou Dort with some good defense, and there's just a lot of stuff going on that's playing very well. Giddy has been a little not the odd man out, I want to say, but he's been a little interesting up to this point. He's gonna need to find his spot a little bit more, I think, within the offense, which I think he will. I'm not too scared about that. But Kenrich Williams has been huge since his return from injury.
Yeah.
He's the extra bench player that brings hustle. He's bringing a lot of rebounding. He's bringing physicality, and that's someone I think the Thunder needed
Yeah.
in the season. I think at times they were playing a little soft, and I think the Nuggets game really showed how soft they were playing. And so having someone like Kenrich Williams back, I think can change the whole. And he can lead by example, and I think this team can definitely see that. But no, having someone like that is huge, and I'm happy. I'm happy that they have him back for sure. He has been a huge plus for the rebuilding years so far. He has been nothing but a great teammate to these guys, and I know he's loved around the whole team. So great to have someone like that back. Definitely, I really like him, and I'm glad he's back playing very well. Isaiah Joe, another
Another
20.
big game. Yeah, five
He
of seven from three, man. This dude is
he's
just
he's killing it so far, man. And just to say he's gonna get paid this offseason. I hope not too crazy, but he's gonna get paid pretty well, I think.
yeah,
SGA,
sniper.
he's been helping him a lot, man. I think he assists 23% of his shots are from SGA assists. So
Yeah,
he's
that little 1-2 pick and roll they do, it works, man.
man.
I
Yeah.
Warriors fan. Yeah, that guard pick and roll that they've run in the past. It's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Teams just for some reason struggle to guard that. They all want to collapse onto the superstar, and it's like this dude's shooting like 900% from three over there, coming off the
Yeah.
screen. But that's yeah. Isaiah Joe has just been crazy. I don't know if I said this during the episode or before we started recording, but Isaiah Joe looks like he's if you guys make like a big time run this season, uh maybe even win the championship, Isaiah Joe is gonna go down as like one of the greatest pickups ever. I
Yeah.
mean, just how like when you guys signed him last season or midway through last season and he just came in shooting like 40% from three for the entire season. Like carrying that over here and being one of your biggest weapons, like I mean, it's a game changer having a guy like that. I mean, we
Oh,
remember when Duncan
definitely.
Robinson, like everyone was like, "Oh shit, this dude's better than Clay." Granted,
Yeah.
now it's a kind of a meme, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
having a guy that's that big of a shooting weapon,
It helps.
it
Big.
it's the same thing with Chet. It's like these are game changing pieces that you guys
Yeah.
have. So
No, 100%.
and the Bulls, no Levine, but DeMar
Yeah,
DeRozan
exactly.
after a
Yeah.
slow start in the first
Levine.
half,
He
finished
came
with the
alive.
classic
Yeah,
DeMar game.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, he came alive, no, for sure, to say the least. I mean, they like we mentioned, they still have a lot of great pieces on this team, and
yeah,
we both have said it multiple times for months now that they have a lot of trade assets that they can
a
ship off.
shitload.
They
Yeah,
have a team of assets. If I'm being honest with you, they have Javon Carter, who they just signed in the offseason. If you don't need him. He's not going to help you win now. You got to ship him off, get assets for
yeah.
him. Caruso, he's worth so much. I mean,
Well, and the
the
nice thing is they're all like the guys that aren't on expiring deals. Everyone
yeah,
else is on team friendly contracts.
very
Kobe
good.
White, team friendly
Yeah,
contract. Patrick Williams will be a free agent. Vucevic,
yeah,
pretty team friendly. Caruso, team friendly.
yeah.
Like
It's
everybody here
they're
could
pluses.
like Javon Carter, teams are gonna want. I mean,
Yeah,
didn't have a good game here, but we know
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
Javon Carter's played
No,
very well the last 3 seasons.
yeah,
Drummond
definitely.
still has something to give.
Yeah,
Torrey Craig, one of the better role players in this league.
yeah,
Dosumu, one of the better backup hybrid guards, great defensively. Kobe White, one of the more underrated guards in general in this league. That's unfortunately having to fill the shoes of Lonzo Ball, but in a different way. So it just doesn't
yeah.
really
He doesn't
help.
fit. Yeah,
But 7 of 12 from three, like
he's a
he's a
microwave.
shooter. He can
Yeah,
play make. Patrick Williams has improved more than I
yeah,
think people expected after the injury. Caruso, every team wants Caruso. That was at the trade deadline last season and the season before. Same is going to happen now. Everyone's going to be looking at Caruso,
yeah.
DeRozan, Vucevic, like every dude on this roster for the Bulls.
They're a trade
Like,
asset.
get rid of them.
Yeah,
Like everyone's got value.
no disrespect to the players, but yeah, they can
No,
get
yeah,
off at any time. I mean, I think that's just where they're at, and I think it's very
it's
much
a
about time to start moving on.
yeah, and it's a good thing. Again, it's
Yeah.
it's not it's
Oh,
not
it is.
about hey, we're losing or hey, we're winning. It's about direction. Is it
Yeah.
clear what's happening? And if you're a Bulls fan, like again, the Warriors should be contending, but I hate being in limbo. They're in
Yeah.
limbo. It's the worst spot to be in, middle of the pack kind of shit. You don't know if it's going to be a win now thing or they're going to decide to blow it up because they're just not making the progress you expect.
Yeah.
So, the Bulls, this is a good place because it's like, yeah, DeRozan's probably gone at the deadline. Levine's probably gone at the deadline. Caruso, everybody's going to want him. He'll probably be gone. All these dudes, man, might as well just completely overhaul the roster. Um, and the Bulls coming past this deadline, man, it would not shock me if they end up with like one of the nastiest draft classes in the
They could.
next 3 seasons, just because of how much stuff they can give up right now. So,
Yeah,
you
and I
know,
mean,
yeah,
like we discussed too. I mean, 2025 Cooper Flag. So
that is true.
there's a lot of positives coming up in the next few drafts. This offseason, there's a few decent picks coming up. Um, Yeah, no, I definitely think they're a team that is in need of a revamp and a new direction for sure. And I mean,
Yeah,
we've mentioned this rebuild, it was going well, but injuries happened and it sucks that that happened to them the way it did, but it is what it is. You got to move on. You can't stay
yeah.
here forever. You
Windows are
gotta,
short.
yeah, I think Trailblazers finally took advantage of that, and I think they're probably very, very beneficial from it now, obviously.
Hopefully, at the
Yeah.
moment, probably not,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah.
in the year they'll be like,
Yeah. Yeah, but
yeah,
no,
the
right
injuries
now,
hurt them. Yeah,
as of right now, I am hoping that they do
yeah,
this later because there's not good to wait. You need to ship players off and you need to figure this out because it seems like there's a lot of issues over there in Chicago also. So they need
yeah,
to get that figured out and get some trades going over there.
yeah. Yeah, but you guys came away with one again. Shea just playing out of his mind. It was just one of those games where the opponent doesn't really have an answer. Shea's got one of those styles of play that it's like if he's on, there's nothing you could do because they're just tough shots.
Yeah.
It's not like Steph where if you're elite as a defense switching, you could probably mitigate some of the shots. It's like with Shea, if he's hitting them, it's because he's just hitting them. Like
Yeah.
you could throw any defense on him and he's gonna make it. So um you live with it. If you're the Bulls, let the tanking commence.
Yeah,
So,
I'm with you.
but yeah, from these three games, what are your, again, 6 game win streak here for your boys? What are your
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on how is everything looking to you?
I mean, it's looking a lot better than it was go at the beginning. I'm happy right now. I definitely think you have to think that the stretch coming up, the Thunder have some tough games. They have the Sixers,
Okay.
who are
And
insane
Beats
right
killing it. Maxi as
who
well.
Maxey is killing it. You have the
Yeah.
Timberwolves coming up in a few days after that. You have the
Mhm.
Lakers, who are a little bit slower to start, but they're starting to. I know they lost tonight to the Mavericks, and
LeBron's been playing
he's been killing it.
generational basketball
He's been
again. Yeah.
playing again, which is insane to me. And then you got the
Yeah.
Mavericks after that. So I mean, you got tough games coming up for the Thunder. They're going to get tested
Yeah.
here. I'm interested. I'm happy, but no, as of right now, they're playing very well. And to say the least, I think you have to put SJ in that top three MVP conversation. They're the second best team in the West right now. I think it's solely because of his play. He's turned it up completely 180 from the beginning of the
Yeah.
year. Not that he had a bad start, but he had a bit of a slower
Couple
start.
games in a row that were rough. Yeah.
Yeah, but now he's coming into his own. He's looking like SGA of last year, plus a little better. And defensively, he's no slouch. He's been
He's
very
killing
solid.
it defensively.
He's
Yeah.
been very solid defensively. And I
Yeah.
think that two-way play needs to be looked at a lot more than it is at times because there's a lot of Luka guys out there that are just saying, oh, it's not close. But I'm just saying, I think it's a little closer than they think. I think defense matters a lot, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. I'm interested in that, but no, definitely Chet's still looking very strong in that rookie of the year campaign. It's going very good. I
You
think,
guys could pull to. I mean, it would not shock me, man, if Mark Dagnall wins Coach of the Year, Shea wins MVP, Chet wins Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's looking like you guys can sweep the fucking yearly awards here at the
it would be
moment.
interesting to say the least, but no,
But yeah,
they have an interesting and Jalen Williams with injury, they are playing without again, obviously. But yeah, the three games that we mentioned, one being a game against the Trailblazers, which they're rough right now. They're in a rough
yeah,
spot. Bulls, similar situation, no Levine. They're a bit of a rough spot. Obviously, not as bad as that Trailblazer team with injury. And
yeah,
the Warrior game was tough. I mean, no doubt about it. But there's still, like I mentioned, there's still things I want to see. And I think this week will definitely answer a lot of questions. Some tough
yeah,
teams, very, very tough teams coming up. This schedule is going to be interesting. Like I've said, I'm still very interested in this team. Lots of positives and not too many negatives as of right now. I think, like we've mentioned, the bench, there's kind of been somewhat answered, and I think Isaiah Joe's been stepping up. He's been solid. He's like we've said this time. He's been very good. He's he's playing very well next to SGA, and I hope
no,
that's a trend that keeps going, and that's someone on the bench that you can rely on at all times. But definitely, the bench is starting to look more like the minutes are starting to look more realistic for how the season's going, and we're having everything come together, and the real lineups are starting to form. So that's interesting to me, and I'm happy to see that.
yeah. I think aside from whittling down the bench, I think the only questions, not even of concern, but just, to continue improving upon, which we're seeing them do, is just defensive consistency. And
Yeah.
then, like you mentioned, Josh Giddey's, kind of continuity
Slower.
within his role.
Yeah.
Watching the Thunder, it's Josh Giddey is definitely the oddball as far as like skill set goes because
Yeah.
Shea is the playmaker. Giddey's a
Yeah.
great playmaker. We know that, but
Yeah.
Shea's the playmaker. Guys really play very well off of him, and Giddey's a good secondary playmaker. And we know he's got that kind of weird, crafty,
Yeah.
unorthodox style of getting to the rim and the floaters and all the white guy from another country skill set we always see. But um, eh, you know, I it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you gotta be able to float. You can't sink and drown in the offense because
No, for
you got guys like Isaiah Joe who, if Isaiah Joe can take some defensive steps, which maybe not, but if he
yeah.
can, his shooting is enough of a weapon to where Giddy, be careful, man. Like,
No, definitely.
I mean, you've mentioned it in other episodes. We already know the consistency is from the three for Giddy's, it's always been hit or miss.
Rough. Yeah.
From the field, at least this season, he's struggled. Um, and the turnovers have sort of been an issue. He's cleaned it up a tiny bit, but that's
Yeah.
been a big issue for him this year. Giddy might not be safe.
Yeah.
He could be. I haven't been following the Thunder up until this, or like to any extent up until this year. So
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong there, but just off of what I'm seeing, Giddy could be, might not really fit what you guys have going on here.
At times,
So
I do see that, and I think the same way. It is a lot of good things come in the hands of SJ with the ball. I mean, it is what it is.
yeah,
Great things happen when he has the ball in his hands. Giddy definitely at times, yes, but I think definitely having SJ with the ball in his hands is a lot more beneficial to the team.
yeah,
It's interesting. I just hope maybe Giddy can develop a different type of play style at times. I'm not saying completely, but a different form if he needs to play with others in different ways, and just being more versatile offensively for sure. Because
yeah,
maybe being a better cutter, obviously the spot up shot, it's not the greatest. I think that's just pretty obvious. He's not a shooter as of right now. He is a very questionable shooter. He's not a complete zero, but he is not a positive, I would say at the same
yeah.
time.
At the moment, yeah,
Of a if you need him to shoot, I guess so, but he is not someone you want shooting on a consistent basis.
yeah. And I think the other thing that kind of hurts him as far as like safety and role is
Yeah.
how quickly Jalen Williams is come along.
Yeah.
Like we said, and I did notice it last season, so it's not even like, oh shit, Jalen Williams is here now. But like
Yeah.
last season,
No,
man,
last year
he
he was
started
good.
coming up,
Yeah,
really getting going,
definitely.
and carried over into this season. And Jalen Williams, I mean, we talked about it in the Warriors game they played, and all three of them. Jalen
Yeah.
Williams' shot creation
He
is
hit some
getting good.
crazy
He's getting to
shots.
that Jalen Brown, that like
Yeah.
2019 Jalen Brown level of like, okay, this dude is, he can go get you one.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
if that's the case, then if you're the Thunder, man, frankly, as good a playmaker as Giddy could be at times,
Yeah.
I kind of want the guy that can go score
I'm with
because
you.
I want Shea being the playmaker because
Yep.
everybody's going to collapse onto him. No
Yeah.
one's really going to collapse onto Giddy. Um, you make the tough floater, you make the tough floater, but Shea, they're going to collapse. So yeah, they're not big questions, but it's just this
Something that
is this
looming.
is the fun of a rising team, as it's like all the problems are good problems because
Yeah.
you've got enough pieces to handle the whatever after effects may linger. But no, yeah, Thunder 6 game win streak, second seed in the West right now, absolutely killing it. Um, Next episode we'll continue checking up on their progress, but to close out the episode here, I'll do my video tomorrow on this Warriors game. I'll watch the parts that I missed, which is like the third quarter, and then parts of the fourth quarter. But um, the only game that the Warriors played aside from that Thunder game, which we talked about, was against the Rockets on Monday.
Yeah.
Um, this was, I talked about Andrew Wiggins having the big game on against the Thunder, needing that, but the consistency. This one, 12 points, 3 of 10
Yeah.
from the field. This time, though, I like we said, 31 points, no rebounds.
Yeah.
12 points, 7 rebounds.
No.
He is just all over the place. Like it's smack him in the face, man. Hit him with like the pie in the face, just something to wake him up.
No.
But this was Clay's best game, his first 20-point game of the season.
Very much so.
Sad to say, but that's the
Very
first
much
20
so.
bomb, and he was
I know.
still kind of inefficient. 5 of 11 from three, you like to see, but
15
seven
or
of
16,
16.
15 shots.
Yeah, 16 shots. That's the one thing that I've been noticing too, as far as all these games go, is Steph is not taking like Kaminga's taking more shots than Steph in some games. Clay's
Yeah.
taking more shots sometimes. Wiggins, it's like Steph, it feels like a LeBron thing where it's like, dude, I know you want to get other guys going, LeBron, but my fucking God, you need to win these games.
Yeah.
Stop passing to these fucking bums. Just
Yeah.
go score. You're LeBron James.
This was no,
Like
I that's how I felt at the same time because yeah, no, Steph, this is definitely one of his best games, obviously. Crazy.
32 on 8 of
Yeah.
14, 5 of 9 from the field. Finally, I mean,
Yeah.
okay, you're a Thunder fan, so you'll call bias, but you go look at the basketball reference stuff because I have as far as career free throws.
Yeah.
12 free throw attempts for Steph is a rarity.
No, it
This
is.
dude does not get to
It
the
is. I
line.
know he's one of the only stars that
No matter
doesn't
how
go
many
line.
times this dude gets
Yeah,
ends, I
as
mean,
good
at
as
the
he
end of the
is
game,
too. I know
scars on his arms,
he,
bleeding,
he
bruises
doesn't have that.
everywhere.
He's never really had that superstar whistle.
Nope,
I
doesn't get the
know
Dame stuff, doesn't get the
it's
Kyrie whistle, you
yeah,
know.
it's odd because I'm trying to remember, and definitely in 21 when 2020, 21, when it was the 72 game season when he was second in MVP, he didn't get that many calls that year either. When he was the main catalyst of the offense, he was taking a lot of shots, but he was also the scoring champ, I believe, that year, which it's really odd that he doesn't get to the line as much as he should because, I mean, the guy, he's undersized, so you think he would benefit from that at times,
Well,
but
especially because he's really
he
good at
doesn't.
drawing contact. Like
Yeah,
he's not
exactly.
someone that
He
like
doesn't shy away from
avoids
it.
contact.
Yeah,
Exactly. Even though he initiates it, it's like, what do you think every guard does?
but
They're
yeah,
not
no, I
just
know.
like they
Like,
initiate contact, like career free throw attempts. Let's see the most that he ever had in a
I'm
season.
gonna say 6 or 7.
The most attempts that he ever had in a season was last or is currently this year at 6.7. That's the most he ever had. In the
Okay.
dynasty from 2015 to
Yeah.
2019, the most he ever averaged was 5.9.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, he's one of the most efficient finishers too for the point guard position. So it's not like this guy's
Exactly, yeah.
avoiding inside presence. He has an inside presence. He's one of
The
the
average is like
efficient.
like it's like six no, I think it was like 40 to 50% of his looks come in the paint or something
Yeah,
like
no,
that
I
within
know.
the
He
mid-range paint. Yeah.
very efficient within that play, but he's not getting to the line as much as he realistically should. I never understood why not. Like we mentioned, Harden gets there, and then he was thinking of players that are very skilled and crafty, but not crazy athletic. Come to mind. I think of Harden right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think of, I mean, there's not too many that are like that, I guess, because I guess mostly the uber athletic dudes. I guess SGA is someone that's not crazy athletic, but he's crafty that gets to the line a lot.
Yeah, because well, he's able to get under
Luca,
people's arms and
yeah,
stuff and do all the, Chris Paul school of bullshit stuff.
yeah,
And, you know, that is the skill set nowadays. But
it
like,
is.
you know, Steph just he doesn't do all that kind of stuff. He
No,
just jumps, and if you jump into him or he'll jump into you to keep you from blocking a shot, it's
yeah,
like on top of that, he gets trapped and doubled and tripled like
I know.
every possession. Give him a break. Like I'm not some Steph Gawker people, okay? Ask my group chat. I'm not afraid to criticize Steph, okay? But this dude's whistle is an abomination to
Non-existent at
basketball.
times. Yeah, I'm with you on
So
that. That's been a
11 of
very
12 from
big
the
issue.
line is impressive to me because
Yeah,
it's like, wow, the refs were feeling generous tonight, boys. Like,
but
but
no, you
yeah,
guys, you guys played a pretty solid game.
I want to shout out Chris Paul. I mentioned it in my reaction to the video on
Yeah,
Monday. Chris Paul in the last 4 games is averaging 14, 5, and 9 right now, shooting
yeah,
60% from three. Chris Paul's offense has completely come along. I don't know what his offense looked like once he got ejected in this game, but after the first quarter, or maybe this midway through the second, Chris Paul had 6 points and 6 assists
yeah,
in this game that just happened. But Chris Paul has been spectacular
big time.
in the last 4 or 5 games here. The offense is back for him. I mean, in this one, 15 points, 6 boards, 12 assists, 2 steals, only 1 turnover, a
Yeah,
plus 12, the highest on the team. Like all the Warriors fans that said trading Jordan Poole is a bad thing. This
no,
is
I
this
think
is the reason Jordan Poole
yeah,
could never. Like you see the bench unit, and again, the Warriors starters just struggle to get consistency in any sort of offensive category that doesn't come from Steph.
yeah,
And Chris Paul is the one that's making sure the bench comes to play. I mean, Dario, another huge
yeah.
night,
No, great game.
18.
This one especially.
Yeah,
This
Moses and
game,
Kaminga just played decent enough. 14
no,
points combined. Pajemski only scored 3 points, but 5 boards, 3 assists.
yeah,
Production. We know Pajemski is just a stat. He's like Dante DiVincenzo, man. He's just a stat sheet guy.
it is
It's dude,
definitely.
all it makes all the hustle plays. Like I like this team. It's just get a fucking goddamn shot creator.
Yeah.
Get Draymond back into the swing of things and get a shot creator. You get a shot creator that's not Steph Curry, and you like, I'm telling you, this team goes from bullshit, not gonna win a goddamn thing to like, okay, we're really like, now
They're,
they're scary.
they're cooking up something.
Yeah,
Definitely. No,
but
I'm with you
no,
on that.
they played well. I mean, they got out rebounded by 5 in this one, which
Yeah.
surprisingly has been a strength for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Rebounding teams, losing to them, but out rebounding them because of the offensive glass impact. But here, 33 free throw attempts. The
Yeah.
Warriors, mentioned it in the last episode we had. Last season, they were the last team. They were last place in the league in free throw attempts.
Yeah.
You're there, they're, I think they're like 11th or 12th right now in
They're like
attempts.
middle. Yeah, they're like
Yeah,
middle of the pack. Yeah.
I mean, that's an insane improvement for us.
Big
Like
time.
just
Last,
getting to the
yeah.
free throw line changes everything.
Yeah.
And it's kind of saved us in a lot of games because of how inconsistent the offense has been. So, a game like this where you only come out on top by 5, if we had last year's free throw attempts,
Yeah.
we
No, I'm with
lose
you on
this.
that. I will say though, I definitely think the score is a little misleading. Sengun got a few little quick ones at the end there
Yeah,
that
no, he did. He had a
yeah,
fantastic game
he had a great
overall,
game.
though.
No doubt though. Yeah, great game from
Yeah,
Sengun. Definitely played his heart out. Jabari Smith too, I want to say
he
great.
looked good. Did not settle. That was
Yeah.
one thing
I
from
liked his
his rookie
midi.
year. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
The
his
post
mid
up,
range
the
was
mid range.
nice this game. I will say that his mid range. Jalen Green also was
He
not the
was a
most
little rugged.
efficient,
Yeah,
but there's a times where he looked good in that third quarter. He came alive a little bit. Freddie, I know, like we've mentioned, he's had a little bit of a hard like starting stretch
well,
scoring the
he's
ball.
just struggled scoring for the last like year and a
Yeah,
half.
it's
Just as
been
not the
tough.
three ball has not been there.
Been
Yeah,
tough for him, but the playmaking was there for him this night. And
14 assists, no turnovers, man.
I mean, Freddie's that guy at times, and I like Freddie a lot. But no, like yeah, like we've said, the scoring has not been there at all. But this team is definitely not what they have been the past year. I
Yeah,
will give them that. This is a team that is they're tough. They're not.
they're
They
one of
kind
the
of
best defenses.
yeah, they kind
Yeah,
of remind me of like just the Detroit Lions. They're tough. They don't give up. They keep fighting, and I like how they play. I give them that. The few games that I've watched from them this year, I watched them blow out the Lakers last week, but what 30, I think it was.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're tough. I mean, they're a team that does not give up
Didn't
whatsoever.
Dylan Brooks hit like 6 threes in that game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he's
no,
been shout
he's
out Dylan Brooks,
yeah,
man. It's fun
dude,
to clown on him. I get it, but
definitely.
I
It's
think Dylan Brooks right now is proving to you why he was not the issue in Memphis. So
Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. I think a
yeah,
change of scenery and a different type of system benefited him tremendously because he looks phenomenal with this team. His
yeah,
shot has been very good. He's been shooting very well. The defense is still there. Maybe not this game because Steph kind of gave him a rough night. But
yeah. Every time
yeah,
Steph and Dylan Brooks play, it's like Steph goes nasty
it's
for
a
a
funny
super
one.
efficient game, but
It's a very funny game between them.
yeah,
But no,
always a funny moment between them. But no,
yeah, no,
I think the biggest thing that I have with the Rockets is Jalen Green's shot selection, and that's always been a question.
it is a
Is
question.
like
It
with an
is.
athlete like him, 9 threes,
Why are you not
man.
getting to the rim?
But yeah, Jalen Green, all the threes, gotta chill with that. He's way too athletic, way too just explosive and able to get to the rim, finish strong at the
Yeah,
rim. He's one of the, again, all these Warriors dudes, athletic for fucking what? Then you have a guy
yeah.
like Jalen Green who's like, I'll go over anybody. You know, he's got the right mentality. Bless you. So I hope Jalen Green can kind of get it together, but he still shows, it's hard to ask a guy that young who just came off of like 2 or 3 years with absolute bullshit with that Rockets team. So it might take him a season or two to kind of become a more consistent, efficient player. But
Yeah.
yeah, just for him, probably cut down to threes because Jabari Smith Jr., he
Yeah.
already did that. He took that step and, yeah, he took 5, but they weren't bad shots. They weren't out of nowhere.
No.
Uh really got to the mid range, got on the dunker spot as well. So he's taken the right steps after, I mean, let's be honest, I'm sure you heard the rumblings last season that he was a bust. And it was
Yeah.
like ridiculous. It's like, whoa, dude. I mean, did you
Write him
watch him
off.
in college?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly. I'll be honest. I wanted him to go to the Thunder with the second overall pick. I really
yeah,
liked him out of Auburn. He looked like a beast. He was a 3-point specialist. He could defend like pretty much 1 through 5, but he was a really interesting player, and I think he still is. And I'm glad that Ime came in. I think he came in at the right time because, yeah, like you mentioned, he looks a lot better than he did last year. These
way
Rockets,
better. Yeah,
they're not the same team. They have a structure, they
yeah,
have vets, and they have a lot of young talent that gets to play with great players. So it's
yeah.
good. It's for what was going to happen to them, and they're going to lose their first round pick anyway. It's
Hmm.
going to see. It is what it is. They're not going to be a top four worst seed.
No,
Top four,
no.
you're not going to be top four worst team in the league. It's just not going to happen.
Bare minimum, they're playing. Yeah.
Exactly. And they're without Amen Thompson. He is not
And
even
Cam Whitmore's not even playing. But
exactly.
there's still, but I still like the depth. I mean, Aaron Holiday has
Do
when
too.
with the
He
Pacers,
was
he was a
great.
great
Yeah,
player.
great play.
Landale played great minutes last season for Phoenix. Jeff
Yeah,
Green, Uncle Jeff, Jay Sean Tate. We know he's one of the better role players in the
he's
league.
solid.
Reggie Bullock was at one point a playoff starter for the
Yeah.
Mavericks. So it's like they're not really they're just not a bad team. I think
No.
for them it's a lot of new pieces everywhere. I mean, I'm looking at this team: Jabari, Shangoon, Jay Sean, and Jalen. Aside, I mean, if we count Boban, sure, but aside from them, nobody that's currently on this roster was there last year.
Yeah.
That's how many new faces are on this team. So, it's just it takes time. You're trying to
Yeah.
build chemistry. You got a new coach as well, new mindset, new everything. But like with a young team, with a new team, the number one thing you look at is the defense because the defense shows chemistry,
Yeah.
camaraderie, people coming together, listening. They all have the same goal, and they're playing like one of the better defenses in the league right now. So I think they're on a great track here.
Yeah.
And Shangoon, we might be calling him a superstar in a couple seasons.
He
So
is phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah,
Very, very good so far. Very strong starts to the season. He is what people say a Jokic clone, which I can see the similarities. They're both European bigs. They're both very strong playmakers, but he's a pretty athletic dude. He is
yeah. I was telling
definitely
you, he reminds me of Sabonis a lot more.
yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
bruiser.
nice athlete for that size. He obviously great post game, like we said, nice touch around the rim. He has great post moves, but no, he is very strong start to the season. And that three ball's not horrible. It's starting to come
No,
off a little bit more.
what's
I'm not
that? 30% on the year or something?
it's not crazy good, but for
Yeah,
him, which he came into the NBA with no shot whatsoever, it's starting to come together. And I think if he can get just hover around the 35s, it'll be an
yeah.
interesting team. I think whatever he is, I think that whatever that team can be. I think he is obviously as of right now, he is the main guy on that team scoring the ball. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean,
Yeah,
like we've seen with Jokic, like we've seen with Embiid, centers nowadays, they're back to what they used to be. They're
the hub of the team. Yeah,
exactly. They're and someone like him, phenomenal playmaker. So you can play off of him pretty well. And they have a lot of guys that can play off very well. I know Van Vliet has had a rough few years scoring the ball, but when he gets it going, he's someone who can play off the ball very nicely.
yeah.
Hopefully, someone like Jalen Green can get the ability to play off the ball nicely, which I think he can be a phenomenal cutter and a
Exactly.
phenomenal spot up at times when needed. So, someone like that who just needs a few more years maybe to unlock what he can bring, I think they got something really, really interesting down there going on, and I'm fond of
Yeah.
it. I think they built their team very well. I was kind of shying away from them being this good to start away. I thought they'd be a lot better than last year for sure. Bringing in someone like Ime, who has lots of experience in
He
great
was with the
franchises,
Spurs before the
such as the
Celtics.
Spurs and
Yeah.
the Celtics. I mean, he has the
Yeah.
understanding of what a franchise and what a culture should be. And I think aside from his issues off the court, he has done just that in Boston, and now he's doing it once again in Houston. And
Yeah.
I got to give him his props. They're buying in, and I'm really liking them down there. They might not be what they were a week ago, like the top four seed. I don't think they will be in the West a top four seed, but I could definitely see them being top eight. They are
Mhm.
very interesting, and I'm liking their team a lot.
Yeah. And I think the best thing too is you look at Shangun and it's like defensively, like the thing with Jokic is last season, the Nuggets were the first team to win a championship without a top 15 defense
Yeah,
ever.
yeah,
So, I mean, the Nuggets, I think the difference between the Nuggets um, and the Rockets here is you look at the four spot. Aaron Gordon, he's more of like one of those hybrid kind of just. I
burn.
would say Josh exactly like Josh
Yeah,
Okogie just can do a little bit of everything
everything.
defensively,
Yeah.
versatilely, athletically. But then you've got Jabari Smith here, and it's like
Same thing.
Jabari Smith. The
Yeah,
difference is Jabari Smith switch like Shangoon,
yeah,
go get the four in the corner. I got the
yeah,
center. I mean, Jabari Smith, we saw the potential in college. This dude can be an insanely powerful rim protector.
big
So,
time.
they don't have the same thing as the Nuggets where it's like the only real size they've got is Jokic, but they've got versatile wings. Like the
Yeah,
difference is the Nuggets or the Rockets, they still have a legit big man that
yeah,
can be a big defensive weapon. So,
big time.
um,
I think like we said, I
yeah,
don't think Sengun's close to anywhere being done in any
no, no, no,
category of
no,
basketball. I think
no.
he's going to keep going. He is phenomenal. I don't think he'll be that bad of a rim protector himself. I think
Yeah.
he puts that athleticism to use,
Well,
and
he's strong enough. He's got a
yeah,
strong base. He's not like, he's not rumbly bumbly like Jokic, and he's not like, just like happy feet like Gobert. Like
yeah,
Shangoon, just like when you watch him shoot, when you see him in the paint, his legs are spread out. He's got a strong base, and he
yeah,
moves really funky. Like he's just a interesting cover. He's unique. I mean, again, we talk about the comparisons. It's always going to be the Euro big men who kind of play similar to him,
yeah.
but
He's
I
a little
mean,
bit different.
exactly. He's kind of like the unicorn of that style of big man that we're seeing nowadays. So
Big
the
time.
Rockets have something brewing, and I like what they've got here. Um, but yeah, I don't even want to go back into the Warriors. We've talked enough about them. It's a mess. I don't even want to go into it myself. But yeah, that's gonna wrap things up for this episode. The Thanksgiving special, we'll call it. But yeah, man, a lot of stuff. Thunder 6 game winning streak. Uh, talked a bit more about the Bulls, who it feels like at this point are always going to be a feature of the episode because they got two guys that I think every team's going to look at, and they've got a whole
Yeah,
roster of talent that the Thunder might want to check out, that everyone might want to check out. So yeah, a lot of stuff as far as just games played, but no real news for you, unfortunately. So we'll keep you updated if things happen. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the evening. Uh, that's pretty much it. Thanks again to Dominic for coming on here for the Thanksgiving special. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And as always, in the moment hoops will be in the description. Have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Thank you and peace.